Hi Snap Artists, it's Lydia and I'm back and I hope you're ready for another art project. This one is called a Bumpy color ride. Why? Because it's bumpy, because I used some napkins and glue and then over it I put this coloring page and I'm going to show it to you how. So I'm going to try to make my project a little bit bumpier so you can see the difference. So I have two. I have this one and I have this one. It's squishy if you touch it and you're not gonna do any damage because it's dry. And of course I'm not gonna suggest you to do this while it's still drying, while it's wet. But now my projects are dry so I can actually press into it and it's not gonna destroy it really. So I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's very simple and I think you're gonna enjoy it. So you can use blank color page, or you can use one that you painted or colored previously. It doesn't matter. We can still go over the coloring page with our watercolors because that's what we're gonna use. We're gonna use watercolors. I'm gonna use my canvas board and I'm gonna use some napkins. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna show you. So we're gonna need a good amount of glue and we're gonna need water. And we're not gonna be afraid of water this time. Why? Because the paper that's gonna come later on has to be wet in order to press it down. And our napkins have to be wet as well. So first I'm gonna apply some glue. I have some color paint on my brush, doesn't matter. I'm gonna spread it all over, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna take a little piece of napkin and I'm gonna put them like this. I'm gonna squish them in my hand. I'm gonna squish them on the board. I'm gonna try to leave them bumpy like this. I'm gonna add some more. As I said, we're not afraid of water. We want water on this, okay? I'm gonna add some more. Okay. And one more here. So water and glue is gonna help to push the edges that are sticking out down. But we're still gonna go over the surface with the glue. So now I want to add more glue because I want to cover everything with glue. I'm just going to do this, okay? And then I'm going to take my brush, put some water into it. I'm going to spread this glue all over and make sure cover everything, okay? We don't want things to stick out too much on the edges. You want to press it down. You can leave the little bumps up, but edges, you want them to be down. And you can do this with glue and water. Okay? A little bit more glue. Okay. So I want this to be wet. I'm going to use one more just to make this a little bit more bumpier. Just a little bit more glue. Okay. So everything is covered with glue. And I have some nappies that I covered with glue and water. Okay, so I'm gonna set this on the side, not wait to dry. This needs to be wet, okay? I'm gonna take my paper, and I'm not gonna need entire paper. We're gonna fold the edges, but I'm gonna start painting in the middle, just a little bit. I need to wet the paper. That's very important. That's the most important thing. for this paper to be wet. So I'm gonna wet it with the colors. As you can see, I picked the fall theme for this one. These are fall leaves. So I'm gonna use some orange. I'm gonna use lots of water and paint. So as I said, we're not afraid of water in this project. I'm gonna use some orange. I'm gonna go use some yellow. I'm going to use some green. And the fall leaves are going to come down sooner than you think. Okay, so I have this, and my paper is pretty wet. So what I'm going to do now is, so my paper is wet. See how it's folding? So I'm going to put the paper over my bumpy canvas. I'm going to put it like this. Okay. I'm going to press gently on my canvas. Just wanted to press it all the way so it goes all the way down to dense, and sides. So sides, I'm just going to fold for now, okay? And then later on, when this is dry, I'm going to show it to you. I can show it to you now. Later on, when this is dry, you can actually use a masking tape. I don't have it here with me. You can use masking tape to tape the edges, okay, when everything is dry. So that's not a problem at all, okay? So see how I did with this one. So just tape the edges. You can glue them, but taping them is easier. You don't have to use masking tape. You can use any tape you have, okay? So when it's dry, it's much easier to do. So I have the project now, so you can see little bumps. And then I can take my brush, smaller brush, and I can take darker color, and I can put darker color in my dents so I can get this impression of texture, okay? So I'm getting a texture out, but by adding some darker colors in my dents. Okay. And you can play with details. You can go ahead now and paint your leaves if you want. You can be as many detailed as you want. But you just want to make sure first to press everything down and to add some texture. So in my dents, I added some darker green, and I'm adding some brown too. Okay, so as I said, we're not afraid of water. We want water here. Just be gentle, though, so you don't rip the paper. Okay, so you don't need any more glue on this because glue is fine. So we have glue under. Okay. So I'm gonna just emphasize the leaves a little bit. So you can do the details now. Okay. So think about the fall colors and some nice shades you can put in your leaves. Okay. So I'm almost done. And you can spend as much as time as you want on the details, because this is now almost finalized project, and you can just continue to play with this and add more things. But this is basically the goal for the Bumpy color ride. Because if you look at the leaves on the ground, they're never flat. There's a lot of bumps, there's a lot of piles and everything, so this looks like a pile of leaves. Okay. So as I said, I will glue the edges later. I will tape them after they're fine now. Okay, so this is the Bumpy color ride. I hope you had fun watching this, and I hope you're gonna have fun making this. Okay, so I will see you soon.